Coronation Street's Sam Blakeman may have done the brave thing by revealing Megan Walsh's disturbing grooming behavior, but telling the truth has taken a toll on him. After finally breaking free from Megan's manipulation, the teenager now finds himself under threat from Will Driscoll. The question is, how much more can he handle? In Sunday's episode, Eva Price encouraged her stepson Will to apologize for his involvement in tormenting Sam. With Sam currently attending counseling after everything he's been through, it was obvious he was still emotionally fragile. Will later approached Sam at the bistro and offered an apology in front of Leanne and Toya, much to their relief. However, things quickly took a darker turn when he phoned Sam afterwards to take it back and warned him to be careful. In tonight's installment, Sam decides to challenge Will over the threatening call, insisting he won't be intimidated. But with Liam Connor nearby, Will quickly plays innocent and denies any knowledge of what Sam is talking about. Meanwhile, at home, Will tells Eva that Sam has been accusing him of making threatening calls, and Maggie urges Eva to address the situation with her family. Eva then heads to the bistro to stand up for her stepson, questioning why Sam would make such claims. Leanne firmly defends Sam, stating he would never lie, while Eva insists Will wouldn't lie either. Leanne fires back, reminding her that Will had been dishonest for months about his involvement with Megan. The confrontation escalates, with both sides defending their children, and Nick ultimately warns Eva to keep Will away from his son. Later, as Sam leaves the chip shop, he thinks he spots a furious Will lurking nearby. Panicked, he tries to flee but trips and falls, with Nick arriving just in time to help him. Although Sam tells his father it was just an accident, he nervously scans the area, clearly shaken and fearful that Will might still be watching. The tension is rising. Just how far is Will willing to go? Coronation Street has pushed back the long-awaited confrontation between Tim Metcalf and Tricia Marlowe, leaving Tim forced to wait longer before facing the woman who exploited him in his youth. The ITV drama introduced the hard-hitting storyline last year when Tim crossed paths with Tricia, someone from his past. It was revealed that they had been involved in a sexual relationship despite Tricia being in her 20s, while Tim was only 14 at the time. Although Tim had once viewed that chapter of his life with a sense of nostalgia, his wife Sally made it clear that he had been below the age of consent and was therefore a victim of grooming and abuse. At first, Tim struggled to accept that perspective and insisted he didn't see himself as a victim. However, after opening up to Sally and his friends, he slowly began to understand why they saw the situation as deeply troubling. In Monday's episode, Sally continued her efforts to track down Tricia and eventually learned that she was employed at Freshco. Tim, however, felt anxious about the idea of confronting her face-to-face. The following episode showed Tim and Sally heading to Freshco together, with Tim trying to appear composed despite his nerves. Encouraged by Sally, he stepped inside, ready to face the past. However, his attempt was unsuccessful, as Tricia was revealed to be away on holiday in Spain for 2 weeks. The couple returned home, but the storyline is far from over, with confirmation that the character will be back on screen soon. Future scenes will see Tim open up to his close friend Steve McDonald as he continues to process everything. A source from the show hinted that Tim has now accepted that his past relationship with Tricia was wrong. He feels unable to move on without properly confronting the situation. While Sally and Steve remain supportive, Tim believes this is something he must handle by himself. The question now is when Tricia will finally return. Coronation Street viewers believe they have figured out Carl Webster's latest scheme as tensions build ahead of a dramatic storyline that could end in tragedy. With hints already suggesting a major death is on the horizon, fans are convinced Carl is heading down a dangerous path that may ultimately seal his fate. Since arriving in Weatherfield last year, Carl has quickly made an impact despite never having appeared on screen before. As the younger half-brother of Kevin and Debbie Webster, he was previously only mentioned in passing, but his introduction brought immediate drama. His complicated love life has already caused waves, including an affair with Abby Webster and a brief romance with neighbor James Bailey. However, the biggest shock came when it was revealed that Carl is actually Debbie's son, a secret that had been hidden for years. The truth came to light following a devastating car crash earlier this year that resulted in the death of local vicar Billy Mayhew. In a chilling twist, Carl admitted his involvement in the incident, revealing that he had manipulated the situation to avoid taking responsibility. After the crash, he deliberately moved Debbie into the driver's seat to make it appear as though she had been behind the wheel, allowing her to take the blame for the fatal accident. When Carl later discovered that Debbie was his biological mother, his reaction was far from forgiving. Instead of showing compassion, he allowed her to continue taking responsibility for the crash and Billy's death. Debbie was subsequently sentenced to over 2 years in prison, all while Carl remained silent. During this time, Debbie's health began to deteriorate, with her dementia diagnosis adding a heartbreaking layer to the storyline. As her condition worsened, Debbie's loved ones grew increasingly concerned. With support from her family and legal help from Adam Barlow, an appeal was launched in an effort to overturn her conviction. Their efforts paid off, and Debbie was eventually released, offering a moment of relief amid the ongoing turmoil. However, Carl wasted no time in inserting himself back into Debbie's life. Presenting himself as though he had moved past the lies and betrayal, he approached her for financial help. Claiming he needed money to settle a debt with a shady car dealer, he persuaded Debbie to consider giving him a significant sum, suggesting he had forgiven her for keeping the truth from him for so long. In recent scenes, Debbie returned to work at the Chariot Square Hotel, determined to regain a sense of normality despite concerns from her husband, Ronnie Bailey. Ronnie urged her to take things slowly and focus on her recovery, but Debbie was eager to get back to her routine. At the same time, she kept Carl's request for money a secret, not wanting to worry those around her. The situation took a turn when Ronnie uncovered the truth. After looking into Carl's claims, he discovered that the supposed debt was only half of what Carl had asked for. Realizing that Carl was attempting to exploit Debbie once again, Ronnie confronted the issue, leaving Debbie devastated. Feeling betrayed, she told Carl that she could no longer support him and made it clear she was cutting ties. Fans now believe this rejection could push Carl even further, potentially triggering reckless or dangerous behavior. With it already confirmed that he is one of several characters at risk in an upcoming murder storyline, viewers are speculating about how events will unfold and whether Carl's actions will lead to his downfall. Online discussions have been filled with theories about what Carl might do next. Some fans fear he could take advantage of Debbie's condition, especially during moments when her memory falters. Others have suggested he might attempt to sabotage the hotel in retaliation, which could have devastating consequences for those around him. There is also concern that if nothing is done to stop him, Debbie could lose everything, including her relationship with Ronnie. Coronation Street continues to air on weekday evenings on ITV1, with episodes also available for streaming on ITVX.